if you're talking in front of others and you're like this and you say and like a lot and you're looking up and you have a lot of up talk where you sound like you're not confident and all of the sentences end in a question and you have vocal fry and you use words like literally. Okay, if you're around your friends and you talk like that, who cares? But if you are presenting to investors who might invest in your company, they're not gonna take you seriously. There is a trend in speech, particularly among younger people, that has been identified with women that I think is actually broader, that I want to talk about a bit, and I want to show you a video too. It's called vocal fry. Vocal fry. When your voice goes like this, it makes you sound like you're tired. Now, the criticism has been of young women who do this, and there's a debate about, number one, whether young women who do this should be criticized for doing so, right? Or whether we should just accept it as, hey, it's just a way that people speak, get over it, right? I have an opinion about this, and I want to share my opinion, but first, for context, I want to share a video about vocal fry. So let's take a look at the video, and then I want to talk about this a little bit. Well, there's a man on the news.
Linguists call it vocal fry.
We should do a remake of Charlie's Angels.
You hear that? That's what they're talking about. Charlie's Angels. That sort of stereotypical Valley Girl sound. It has been associated with the Valley Girl way of speaking. Like, my God, that kind of sound. It annoys me, I have to admit, okay? It's a pet peeve, a bit of a pet peeve. But I think there's another way to see this that this video is not quite getting, but I think it is still a good setup.
Voice used by some of today's biggest pop culture stars.
You have to dress so you can make a quick getaway.
Can, according to some studies, cause cracks in the career paths of young women by making them sound less competent.
So it's pitch.
Less confident? So if you use vocal fry, people are saying it's a way of speaking that signals a lack of confidence. If you have it, it signals a lack of confidence. And that may be the case. But if you listen in modern, particularly modern speech among people under the age of, let's say, 40, you hear it a lot. You hear it all the time.
The debate about vocal fry has been simmering for years.
And then it's also the affectation, which is the fry and up talking.
That's perfect. She nailed it. The fry and up talking. Great.
But it reached a boiling point when the prominent feminist author Naomi Wolf wrote about it in The Guardian, urging young women to abandon it in the workplace. Wolf clarified her point of view earlier this week on CBC Radio's The Current.
I'm not criticizing young women. I'm saying our generation has failed in not providing adequate mentoring and support for these young women that they feel they need to use their voices to kind of camouflage their strength.
Wolf's article...
So her opinion is that actually it's not that there's anything wrong with young women. It's that there is a need to educate people about what kind of speech will best represent their strengths. How do you speak, right? And that's an interesting take, I think.
Triggered an uproar among bloggers and commentators. They say scrutiny of women's speaking patterns is just the latest frontier in the endless barrage of judgment faced by women.
I think that it's ludicrous to discount what a woman says and take her any less seriously because of a speech peccadillo that...
So pay attention to what she's saying. It's not fair to treat or deal with a young woman a specific way because of a mannerism or because of an intonation, right? Pay very close attention to what she's saying there, because that's a very interesting point as well. young women should not be judged on a specific way that they speak. Okay.
Affects everyone.
What many of Wolf's opponents are particularly upset about is the double standard. Men, they say, are affected by vocal fry.
Double standard meaning, hey, men do this too. Why are you criticizing women? Valid.
As well, so why not tell them to drop it to sound more professional? Still, Sklar is hopeful something good could come of this debate.
And then we get to the point where we say, okay, we recognize that there are certain elements that are useful to consider for presentation, for operating within the business world, all of that. But we just want to see those same criteria applied to men.
Yeah. Right.
So then, vocal fry debate is on the front burner, shaping how women's voices are perceived in the workplace and beyond. Deanna Sumanak-Johnson, CBC News.
So, what is going on with vocal fry? Why are women being criticized for having it? And, what does that mean in the language, in the English language? First of all, it is not just women. So the point about criticizing women specifically for vocal fry, I think, comes because that's where we hear it more often, especially in the media, because the type of women who are portrayed in reality shows, maybe they're more often the type of people who speak that way because maybe they're not presenting themselves in a sort of formal setting. It's the Kardashians, and they talk like that because that's how extremely rich people who live in California tend to talk. But I think if you looked more broadly, you'd probably find that the number of women who use it and the number of men who use it are pretty much on par. I don't have the numbers to support that, but that is what I would guess. Okay, now we have a couple of opinions there. One opinion, that women are treated unfairly because they're being criticized for this. To me, that makes perfect sense, right? Well then, what should we do? Should we say everyone should just speak however they want all the time and we shouldn't have standards? I don't think that's what that lady was saying. She's saying, let's just be fair between men and women, right? The other lady, the feminist who everyone was criticizing, was saying the education system has failed these young women because they don't know how to represent themselves in, for example, a workplace setting. And I think there's also some validity to that we have, in modern English, broken down the barriers between public speech and private speech. And this is a modern trend that has been continuing ever since let's say the 19th century. It's a trend toward moving away from having two types of speech to making everything one type of speech, right? If you are around me socially and you hear me talking with friends, I'm not talking like this. That's because I believe having different types of speech for different settings is necessary. And if you look at oratory back in the 18th century, it was very distinct. You have speech that you use in public in front of others, public speech, and there's an art and a craft to that. And then you have daily speech, casual conversations. So I think that the reason for this debate is because we have forgotten about this idea that there can be two types of speech. And because it's kind of mixed together, the wall has broken down so that we think that speech is just speech. We can't make any criticisms about how people talk. So my view is this. Yes, let's not criticize women for talking like this. Let's criticize everyone for talking like this. But let's not criticize everyone for talking like this in every setting. Let's criticize or educate people who talk like this when they're trying to be effective communicators. The fact is, right? The fact is, if you're speaking in public, there may be some things that you can do that are going to make you more impactful. If you're talking in front of others and you're like this and you say and like a lot and and you're looking up and you have a lot of up talk where you sound like you're not confident and all of the sentences end in a question, and you have vocal fry, and you use words like literally. Okay, if you're around your friends and you talk like that, who cares? But if you are presenting to investors who might invest in your company, they're not gonna take you seriously. So I think we need to move in the opposite direction. We need to get away from the trend of all speech being the same, and we need to return to this idea that there's speech we make in public and there's speech we have casually between, for example, friends. And when it comes to that casual speech between friends, whatever you want to do goes. I have nothing to say. Yeah, if you use like too much and a lot of vocal fry, whether you are a man or a woman, by the way, I probably don't want to hang out with you. My personal preference, okay? That's just me. It bothers me. It doesn't only bother me for women, though. It bothers me for everybody. And I hear it a lot among men. I hear a lot among men and women. To me, it's that thing. It's not whether it's women or men. However, if it comes to a job interview and I'm interviewing someone, if it comes to a presentation, a professional presentation, when it comes to talking in a setting in front of people, I think you need to know what is going to reach sort of the maximum audience, what is going to have the most impact. And right now, that probably means toning down the vocal fry, toning down the ums and the likes, being more articulate, and actually working on the craft, the art of speaking in front of other people. So that's my take, okay? Let's be critical. Only of this one, though, not of this one. And not only women, of everyone. That's my view. If you agree, if you disagree, let me know. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you haven't already done so, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Also, check out my free course, Natural English Conversations, in the link in the description.